7.5 million people, trapped on an island with one way out. Every morning, Long Islanders face the same impossible choice. Drive 3 hours through Manhattan traffic to reach Connecticut, or take a ferry that runs twice a day to cross 20 miles of water. This is the Long Island Sound, the gap that's held America's richest region hostage for 70 years. Engineers have a solution, a crossing that would change everything, but America refuses to build it. The price tag? $55 billion. Let's find out why this engineering marvel remains a dream. The problem seems simple. 20 miles of water between two shores. But the Long Island Sound is one of the most challenging marine environments on the East Coast. The Sound averages 60 feet deep, but shipping channels plunge to 150 feet. Hurricane-force winds rake the surface. Beneath the water lies a maze of bedrock, glacial deposits, and soft sediments that shift with every storm. Engineers have studied 3 ways to cross this gap. Each presents a different nightmare. Option 1. The bridge. 14 miles of open water crossing, soaring 150 feet above the shipping lanes. Think of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, but twice as long and built to withstand Category 3 hurricanes. The towers would rise 600 feet, visible from Manhattan's skyline. The engineering is straightforward. Massive concrete foundations anchored 200 feet into bedrock. Cable-stayed spans that flex with hurricane winds. The technology exists. We've built bridges like this before. But there's a problem. Connecticut's Gold Coast, some of the most expensive real estate in America, sits directly across from Long Island. Wealthy communities that have protected their ocean views for generations. They see this bridge as a wall blocking their horizon. Option 2. The hybrid solution. This is what engineers actually recommend when politics aren't involved. Causeways through shallow water, bridges over moderate depths, and tunnels beneath the deepest shipping channels. The Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel proved this concept in 1964. 17 miles of crossing using every technique available. It still carries 120,000 vehicles daily, 60 years later. For Long Island Sound, the hybrid would start with a causeway from Oyster Bay. 2 miles of elevated roadway through shallow water, like a concrete pier stretching toward Connecticut. Then a bridge section, 4 miles of cable-stayed spans over moderate depths. The centerpiece would be a tunnel, 4 miles beneath the main shipping channel, bored 120 feet below the seabed, deep enough for the largest container ships to pass overhead. The tunnel would emerge on the Connecticut side, connecting to another bridge section before reaching shore at Rye. This hybrid approach costs $20 to $30 billion. Half the price of a full tunnel, but still massive by American standards. Option 3. The full tunnel. 18 miles of concrete tube, 150 feet beneath the seabed. This is where the $55 billion figure comes from. The engineering challenges are staggering. Tunnel boring machines would work from both ends, meeting in the middle with millimeter precision. The tunnel would require its own ventilation system, massive fans pushing air through 18 miles of underground highway. Water pressure at those depths could crush the tunnel like a tin can. The design calls for concrete walls 6 feet thick, reinforced with steel cables under constant tension. Every joint sealed against the crushing weight of water and sediment above. But here's what makes this option truly insane: maintenance. A single leak 18 miles from shore becomes a catastrophic emergency. The tunnel would need redundant pumping systems, emergency escape routes every half mile, and a maintenance crew on standby 24 hours a day. The hybrid solution makes sense. It's proven technology, reasonable cost, manageable maintenance. But even this sensible option faces an impossible obstacle: the money. $20 billion for a crossing that serves 2 states. Connecticut would need to pay half, but Connecticut doesn't want the traffic. New York would pay the other half, But Long Island doesn't generate enough toll revenue to justify the cost. The numbers are brutal. To pay for a $20 billion crossing, tolls would need to reach $40 to $60 each way. At those prices, most drivers would stick with the 3-hour detour through Manhattan. This is the paradox that's trapped Long Island for 70 years. The engineering solution exists. The need is obvious. But the economics don't work, and the politics are even worse. This isn't the first time America has faced this choice. The Long Island Sound crossing has died and been resurrected more times than any infrastructure project in American history. It started with Robert Moses in the 1950s. The master builder who reshaped New York saw the crossing as the missing link in his highway empire. Moses commissioned the first serious study, mapping routes and calculating costs. He envisioned a bridge connecting his Northern State Parkway to Connecticut's coast. Then the environmental movement arrived. The 1970s brought new laws, new studies, new complications. What had been a simple engineering problem became a maze of environmental impact statements and regulatory approvals. By the 1990s, the project had a new champion, Governor Mario Cuomo. He pushed for a tunnel option, thinking it would avoid the visual pollution complaints. The tunnel studies began. Costs exploded. His son Andrew revived the dream in 2017, commissioning the most comprehensive study yet. The WSP report laid out every option, every cost, every environmental impact. $55 billion for the full tunnel, $20 billion for the hybrid. The engineering was solid. Then came the political reality check. Connecticut's response was swift and brutal. Governor Dannel Malloy called the project a non-starter. The state legislature passed resolutions opposing any crossing. Connecticut's message was clear: keep your traffic on your side of the Sound. The opposition went far beyond political posturing. Connecticut's Gold Coast communities mobilized like they were fighting an invasion. Greenwich, Stamford, Darien, some of the wealthiest zip codes in America, hired lobbyists and lawyers. Their argument was simple: why should Connecticut sacrifice its coastline for New York's traffic problem? But the real killer was the financing nightmare that emerged from the 2017 study. Even the cheaper hybrid option would require unprecedented cooperation between two states that barely trust each other. The toll economics were devastating. A crossing that costs $20 billion needs to generate massive revenue to pay bondholders. The study calculated tolls between $40 and $60 each way. At those prices, traffic projections collapsed. Here's the cruel math. The crossing needs high traffic to justify its existence, but high tolls kill traffic. Lower the tolls and the project can't pay for itself. It's a financial death spiral that no amount of engineering brilliance can solve. This is where American infrastructure dies. Not in the engineering labs, but in the financing meetings. We can build anything. We've proven that. But we can't agree on who pays for it. The Long Island Sound crossing represents everything broken about American infrastructure policy. We study projects to death, then kill them with politics. We demand engineering perfection, then refuse to pay for it. We create problems that cry out for solutions, then make those solutions politically impossible. Connecticut killed the project again in 2025, citing cost concerns and environmental impacts. The cycle continues. Another study will come. Another governor will champion the cause. Another generation of engineers will design the perfect solution. And it will die again, because the problem isn't engineering. It's us. The Long Island Sound remains unbridged, not because we can't build it, but because we won't. That 20-mile gap has become a monument to American infrastructure paralysis. The distance between what we can imagine and what we're willing to pay for. What do you think? Is a $55 billion price tag worth it to bypass New York City traffic, or should this plan stay in the archives? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this look at the infrastructure that could have been, make sure to hit subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.